Alright, so I'm coming in late with this one, but welcome to my review for Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 3, which is the final part of the final season of the series. So this is actually the series final. So I will be getting into spoilers. So here's your spoiler warning now. This will be a spoiler review, so click off the video now if you don't want to be spoiled. So, alright, here we go. I actually did not expect for the story to go down this way because everything came full circle in this final part. Like the story that they told, everything came together. Like even from the old Karate Kid movies, everything that they've said, everything that what these characters are, who they are, and how even not the backstory of all their dojos, how they work, it all came full circle, which is something I loved in this final part. In this final part, they do bring proper closure to these characters as well. So it was a very good final part of this season as well. Everything came full circle with everything, and it tied up very well in this. I'll explain it as I explain the story. So what happens is that after Kwan's death, basically they stopped the tournament. So the Sekai Taika has stopped, and everybody's gone back to their countries. Now, what happens is that Tori Silva, he wants to actually continue the tournament. And so basically he goes to the people that run the thing, because we need to start it up again, right? Because it's like all the kids want to compete. And what happens is that he's got to go ask all the senseis to give the okay for them to restart the tournament. So that's what he does, right? Everybody wants to start up except for Daniel. Daniel is the only one that does not want to continue the tournament because there was a death in the tournament. So he said, nah, that's it, we're done. There should be no more. So what ends up happening is after convincing from Johnny and a little bit from Tori Silva, basically Johnny tells him that, you shouldn't put your own emotions into your own feelings into this because all the kids, they want to compete. So then Daniel says, all right, let's go ask the kids if they want to continue. So they ask them and they all say yes. So then Daniel says, okay, we'll restart the tournament. So that's what happens. So the tournament is restart, but this time it's going to happen in the All Valley. So, we're going back to the beginning in a sense, right? So again, so the tournament restarts. So what happens is that all the kids start training again. And what happens with Robbie's training, it's so wacky where basically they put a headset on Miguel, and this headset's basically, it's supposed to be designed to make Miguel fight like Axel, because Axel was like a powerhouse, right? Because they're trying to train Robbie to beat Axel. So that's what happened. It's so wacky, this part, but yeah, I can kind of see what they're trying to do, but did come off a bit wacky. So as that's happening, we cut to Sam and Tori, and basically Tori tells Sam that, I'm done with the tournament. I quit anyway. I'm not fighting in the tournament. But Sam is going to fight in the tournament, so they basically, they start training together. So yeah, that was a good, they started becoming friends again and all that stuff. So that was pretty good. Now, it's somewhere around here, if I remember correctly, but it's also revealed that Cobra Kai is not going to compete in the tournament because, so Cobra Kai is basically done. And that's why Tori is not going to fight because, she's not going to join Miyagi-Do either. So she's basically done. She's quit. And yeah, so she does train, like I said, with Sam, but yeah, that's basically all she does for now. So after that, the tournament comes up. And basically the first fight is so it's Robbie versus Axel. So they begin their fight. Like, by the way, the fight scenes in this is pretty good. Like, because obviously this is the final season, so it's pretty badass. But basically the fight is, they're pretty evenly matched. Like one scoring a point, the other scoring a point. But there is a point to where near the end, because they're almost like even. And what happens is, I can't remember the guy's, the Iron Dragon Sensei. I always forget his name, but he tells Axel, to do that technique, right? It doesn't matter. He won't get disqualified. Don't worry about it, right? So he does listen to him, and he does do that move. So when I think it's when Robbie tries to kick him, Axel grabs his leg and he twists it, and when he breaks his leg, right? So after he's carried by a stretcher, and the doctors look at him and they basically tell him, your leg is broken and you can't compete anymore. You're basically done. So basically the win goes to Axel, which goes to the Iron Dragons. Now, what's revealed here, or what they say, is that the kids, what they notice is when they look at the points, they realize that Miyagi-Do cannot win. Unless, the only way that they could win is that for the Iron Dragons not to score at all. and they have to score the rest of the point, which is not going to happen. So they basically said there is no way that they could win. So the next fight would be Sam versus the girl in the Iron Dragons, which I forgot her name as well. So that was going to happen like the day after. So they take a break from the tournament, and here's why I say this whole thing came full circle, right? So what happens here during the night, right? It's revealed that everything with Miyagi-Do, like if you guys remember Miyagi, like with Mr. Miyagi, what happens is that if you guys remember, I was talking about this before, is that the secret that Mr. Miyagi have, how he committed the crime and all that stuff. That's all revealed in this, because what happens is that the reason why he stole that necklace is because that originally belonged to his wife, which she passed away during the war. So that's why he broke in and stole. So basically, he stole it back. But what happened is that a security guard tried to stop him and tried to fight him, so he had to defend himself. So that's basically what happened. That's why he committed that crime, right? And also, Daniel also has a dream of Mr. Miyagi, like they're trying to defend all these bad guys, yeah. And Mr. Miyagi, tells him something you'd never understood, right? And what happens is that this is what I was said before. This is why the whole thing all came full circle, even from the back to the the old Karate Kid movies. Because what's said here is that, so basically Sam, she's basically saying, we're not going to win anyway. I'm not going to fight, right? She's basically quitting the tournament. And here is that even Daniel says, because now it's all starting to make sense to him, because even with that dream, he goes, I forgot that Mr. Miyagi, you taught me something very important, is that Miyagi-Do was never supposed to be based on competition or to fight somebody. It's basically a fighting style to avoid a fight, so they don't have to fight at all, right? This is something going back to the old Karate Kid movies, because Mr. Miyagi said that his fighting style was purely for self-defense. That's all. It wasn't meant for competition, none of that. So that all came full circle, which, by the way, I absolutely love that they did this, because, like I said, this all came full circle, and it's bringing a closure to these characters as well. So it all came full circle. Daniel now understands, the true meaning of what Miyagi was teaching him all this time. So it all came full circle. So I love that I actually respected this scene too. I love that when I was watching that part, like, yeah, this is good, So after all that, what happens is that the tournament, they go back to the tournament, and basically Sam tells me, I quit, I'm done, right? But this angers Johnny, right? Like, he goes asking, why are you guys quitting for? You guys just can't quit, right? But so he kind of gets upset. But what happens here is, and this is the part I found very interesting, and this did pull a little bit of heartstrings. So what happens is that backstage, he actually Johnny confronts Chris, right? And by the way, this scene is written beautifully, by the way, like very good acting as well. The actors did a very good job here, because basically it's bringing closure to these characters, because all the conflicting things that they have, like all the problems that they have, this all brings it to a close, because basically Chris tells him, I'm sorry, I should not have done things like I shouldn't have, beat you up after the tournament. I shouldn't have treated you, because he was a father figure to Johnny, right? But he kind of he was being hard on him, this is also another thing that comes full circle as well, because if you guys remember in the first Karate Kid movie, after Daniel won the tournament, right, and he beat Johnny, Chris actually beat him up, because why'd you lose to this loser? Why did you lose? He basically beat him up. And basically now that he's deciding to apologize, I should have never done this to you, I never should have pushed you the way I pushed you, I should have never done that. So basically he's saying he's sorry. Now, this scene does also bring full closure to Chris's character. This completes his character after this. But yeah, so like I said, this scene was beautiful. But what happens here is that at the end of this scene is Johnny asks him, maybe there is a favor you can do for me. There's something you can do for me. So what happens is that Chris actually gives him Cobra Kai. So he actually inherits Cobra Kai from him. So what happens is that in the tournament, so he comes out with Miguel and Tori as Cobra Kai. We're going to be competing as Cobra Kai now, right? Since, Miyagi-Do quit. And what happens here is that Tori, she fights the girl from the Iron Dragons, which, the fight was pretty good, but Tori ultimately wins the fight, right? And the next match is basically Miguel versus Axel. Now this fight is basically like it's evenly matched, but there is like times where Axel got the upper hand a little bit, right? But after like some motivation by his team, Miguel, he started to gain the upper hand. But what happens is that the sensei from the Iron Dragons, he basically tells when Miguel throws his roundhouse kick, he exposes his back, and what he tells him is that when he does that kicking from behind, because he was told that he knows that Miguel was in the wheelchair, because he was in the wheelchair. You remember how he had that accident? He was in a wheelchair. Maybe he could put him back in it by kicking his back, right? And he goes, Axel, he's saying, I can't do that, because he's saying because it's like he's basically telling Axel to be an asshole, But what happens here is that Axel actually refuses, right? He refuses, but because he refused, he obviously lost the fight, right? Because he refused. But he goes, he said, why did you refuse? See, you lost the fight. What did you do? And he goes, I am ashamed to be your student, and then he walks off. Which, by the way, was actually really good because he was actually being bullied by his sensei. If you guys have seen all these parts, yeah. So basically, yeah, Axel, he basically quit the Iron Dragon. So, yes. So what happens here is that even though that Tori and Miguel won their fights, what the announcers realize is that Cobra Kai and Iron Dragons they got the same amount of points. So it actually ended up in a tie. So what happens here is that the announcer goes, no, there must be a winner. We're not going to end this in a tie. So as a surprise fight, we're going to have the two senseis fight. So Johnny versus the guy from the Iron Dragons, right? And by the way, this is surprising. Like I really wanted also Daniel to have a fight as well, but that didn't happen. But yeah, so now basically Daniel is now training Johnny to be able to beat the guy from the Iron Dragons, because they're saying is that he's younger and more powerful, but Johnny has more experience, if that makes sense. So they're trying to train him. So when he came before the fight, basically the guy from the Iron Dragons, he basically tried to I want to say scare Johnny, but he tried to take away his confidence, right? So when it came time to for them to fight, Johnny started to lose because his confidence wasn't there, and there's a point even Chosen said that he's not fighting like he used to. Like I can see fear in his eyes, right? So what happens is that Daniel, he calls a timeout and he brings him up. Now this scene was hilarious, right? Because this is literally what Daniel tells Johnny. He tells him, "Hey, are you a pussy?" He's literally telling him it's in the reverse now, right? Are you a pussy? Are you a man? You only pussies give up. You gotta be strong and all this. It's literally how Johnny was doing it to Daniel originally. Now it's in reverse, right? So now he's gained his new confidence. Now the fight continues, but this time, Johnny actually fights back. He actually manages to beat the guy from the Iron Dragons, right? But it was one point off. They got to a point where it's 1 point off. So whoever wins the next point wins, right? And Johnny, obviously, he's the one that won the fight. So which in turn, Cobra Kai won the Sekai Taikai. So everybody's celebrating and all that. And what I found interesting is that Johnny and Chosen were wearing the Cobra Kai, uniform, which I found interesting. But the one thing, this is actually an homage to something where, when Johnny was holding up the trophy and Daniel was also helping him, lifting his hand up. This is actually an homage to the first Karate Kid movie, because if you guys remember, when Daniel beat Johnny originally when he did that crane kick, he actually when Daniel held up the trophy, if you guys remember, Johnny came up to him and he holds up the trophy for him and goes, "You're all right, man, you're all right." If you guys remember that, you're all right. You're a good kid. I can't remember the exact line, but if you guys remember, that's what happened. But that part was an homage to that scene, which I actually loved it, right? So, so the Cobra Kai won. That was the end of the tournament. Now, the next few things is basically bringing closure to all the characters, to all the kids, especially some of them, they go off to university. Sam goes to Japan, to Okinawa, which Miguel, because he was supposed to go to university, but he got I think he got exempted or something like that. So he's actually going to go with Sam overseas to Japan. And now this is the part I'm seeing that a lot of people had a problem with. When he came to Robbie, like his ending, they're saying he was robbed, right? But to be honest with you, that's I wouldn't say that, because obviously there can only be one winner. But the thing is that what happens with Robbie, he basically, with Tori, they basically got like a modeling, like a photo shoot to do like a martial art photo shoot, right? Where they're doing their moves and they're taking photos of them, and all got paid very well. So, yeah. So I wouldn't say that's a bad ending for them, because here's another thing I'm going to say this. I don't think this is the last time we're going to see these characters. I think they are going to come back, but I don't think we're going to see them together in a sense. I don't think that's going to happen. But because if you guys know that there is a movie coming up, Karate Kid Legends. Now, I don't think they're going to appear in that movie, but if that movie does well, I think we might get another Karate Kid movie where maybe Robbie's in it and maybe someone else, right? I think that might happen, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, this final, the final part of this season was written very well. The acting was top quality, because the actors really embodied these characters. They really did. And the writers did a very good job, because, like I said, this whole story came full circle to even like the old Karate Kid movies, as I mentioned before. So yeah, it was very well written. Yeah, it was very well. Now, as the final, my final thoughts of the whole series. Now, if you like Karate Kid, obviously, this is definitely a good sequel story to the old Karate Kid movies. I think it is a good sequel story, and it's definitely worth watching. So, do I recommend this? I'm talking about the whole thing. Do I recommend this? Yes, 100%. If you like the old Karate Kid movies, you're definitely going to love Cobra Kai. So, but you gotta watch the whole thing. Don't just jump into season 6, obviously. Go watch from season 1 to season 6. Because it is a good follow-up story to that. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. I will be doing a review on the movie when it comes out. Yeah, so, and my opinion is, I do believe that all the closing arcs, like all the closing of these characters, was very well done too. Because if this is truly the end for these characters, I'm fine with it, because it does bring a proper closure to these characters. It really does. Now, I know people, like I said, people have a problem with the Robbie thing, but personally, there's nothing wrong with it, because he is making money at the end. Like he's, you know what I'm saying. Like, there is a proper closure to this character. Like, he didn't completely lose. Because here's the thing with Robbie, right? Because if when you first introduced, he was a troublemaker. He was degenerate kid. He was a thief, right? But when he went through karate taught him, the right way to live. Like, it taught him discipline, self-respect, respecting others. You know what I mean? The karate taught him that. You know what I mean? So that's why I think that this ending for Robbie was a good ending for him, right? Now, no, he didn't win the Sekai Taiko, but it was a good ending for him. So yeah, look, I think all the characters had a very good ending. Now, my personal opinion, I don't think this is the last time we're going to see them, because I think we will, like I said before, we'll probably see them like in the movie or something. But maybe not all of them together, but maybe Robbie might appear in the movie, and maybe Miguel might appear, and I might have to fight a common bad guy or something like that. And anyway, that's enough for me rambling, because I love this whole thing. So yeah. If you're not seeing Cobra Kai for some reason, yeah, you definitely, I do recommend it. Go watch it. And I guess, like I said, I will be doing a review on the movie. And obviously, if the movie does well, obviously they're going to make more, which obviously we will probably be seeing these characters return. So anyway, that's enough from me. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. And yeah, thank you for watching.